Hi. Thank you for attending today's reading. Let's begin. I know what that noise in the night was. And it wasn't a ghost. I don't know if I should be proud or ashamed of myself right now, so I'll let ya all be the judge of that. My boyfriend recently moved into an old farmhouse that was built in the 1700s. It's been completely restored but still has its quirks. The only neighbors within a mile would be the deer and coyotes traveling through the orchards and cornfields. A couple weird things have happened around the house. Nothing crazy. But he is a bit concerned about ghosts, and this is the type of place where you would expect such activity. Last night we were laying in bed with the windows open, just enjoying the breeze and absolute silence. No TV. No road noise. Nothing. It didn't take long for us to fall asleep. Around 1 a.m. there was a loud noise in the room and he sits straight up in bed and yells, "What the fuck was that?" I heard it too and immediately knew what it was. Before I could say a word, he's up with a bright-ass flashlight and goes to check every door and room in the house. He said it came from the hallway and had a very distinct sound no human could make. Finally, he settles back into bed and proceeds to try and recreate the noise for about 20 minutes before we fall back asleep. I waited until morning to tell him it was a fart. Edit. Oh my gosh, you all are amazing. Thanks so much for the awards. End of story. Next story. I just found out I was raped by my mom all throughout my childhood. My earliest memory is of when I was 4. I don't know if this was the first instance. I don't think I'd be able to take it if I knew this happened even earlier, considering I was still in a car seat when this happened. She was filling the car up with gas. I was sitting in my car seat talking to her while I wait. And I say, I see you kissing Dad all the time. I wonder what it feels like here. She proceeded to bend down and make out with me. I suddenly remembered everything else when I was talking to my friend about this memory. I had thought that this was completely normal until I saw that she looked like she was going to cry. Just from hearing it. For the last few days I've been spiraling. I can't get a hold of myself and I feel like I'm drowning. It happened most often in the shower. I lived with my mom for basically my whole childhood since my dad was always gone. And then they eventually divorced when I was 7. I moved in with my dad when I was 11. I'm 15 now. Throughout that whole time my mom always insisted we showered together. I was uncomfortable showering with her, as I felt I was too old, but she always guilt-tripped me saying that I don't love her. She would wash me even if I didn't want her to. And spend extra time on my chest and groin. The first and only instance of straight-up rape that I remember, though I'm sure Taria's more, was honestly just like any other night. We shared a bed tonight since I've always had trouble sleeping. I won't go into too much detail, but I specifically remember laying on top of her face up, both of us naked, as she ran her hands down my body. I remember her telling me after, people won't understand how much we love each other. So don't tell anyone. I've been a complete wreck since I recovered these memories. I can't touch my body, look at my body, or even look at myself because I look like a carbon copy of her. For fuck's sake, I can't even look at my brother because he looks like her. I feel like I look like a fucking monster. I should mention I'm a lesbian. And all of a sudden I feel disgusted with myself for it. Because what if I enjoyed it? I like women, don't I? She's a huge homophobe too, and the fact that she did this makes me so fucking angry, and then she turns around and calls me a dyke. Fag. A child she never wanted. I don't know why I'm posting this. It's too hard to talk about in person. What I do know is that I want her to fucking rot in prison for the rest of her life. I hope she never hurts anyone again. Edit. If anyone could give me legal advice, that'd be great. Currently we have literally zero evidence of this since this happened about 7 years ago. And I was not aware of this until a few days ago. The only thing we have is my own word. Which obviously is not enough to get her arrested. I should also note that she was also physically abusive. Along with literally every single other form of abuse towards me and my brother. At times she would leave for days at a time without saying anything and was constantly on drugs. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit 2. First off, I wanna say thank you to everyone who has offered advice and comfort. I have spoken to my therapist about this. And my dad and cousin Nikki. Wo's basically my mom at this point. Know about it too. I do not live with my mom. And I have not spoken to her in almost a year now. End of story. Next story. I was voted a most likely to be homelesser at prom 22 meters, so this happened 6 years ago. Grew up with no games consoles or anything, so was already targeted. Had major anxiety issues where I couldn't go to hairdressers or anything of the sort. So long hair was how I looked. Always had it in a bun at the back of my head, and it was before the whole hipster thing. Now I make $26K a year doing construction while everyone else is barely on $16K. EAVE started paying on a mortgage and just finished payments on my car. No one in my family or friend group know how humiliated I was at prom. End of story. Next story. I was racist for years and didn't realize it. I grew up in southern USA in the suburbs. Went to an all-white high school. Had no black friends and owned a Confederate flag. Hell, our school fight song was Dixie. I would always tell myself that ETA's heritage not Hatea. I was taught in school that the Civil War wasn't about slavery. That post-Civil War Reconstruction was a failure and believed in the lost cause myth. I didn't think of myself a racist. Because when I thought of racist, I imagined people like David Duke or the KKK. It wasn't until I joined the military at 18 that I saw how backwards I was. All of a sudden I'm surrounded by people from all walks of life. From all over the world, and it definitely opened my eyes to how racist I actually was. Looking back at old pictures of myself holding that flag, or how I acted, makes me embarrassed and cringe. Thank you for whoever is reading this. And know that I'm trying to learn, grow and be a better person. End of story. That is all for today. If you want to support my automated channel, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.